It's confirmed. Senator Manny Pacquiao is running for president in next year's elections. Vice President Leni Robredo says she's also ready to run for president, but subject to certain conditions. The Partido Federal ng Pilipinas endorses former Senator Bongbong Marcos as its presidential candidate. 8 members of the LGBTQ+ community were injured after bombing in Datupiang, Maguindanao. And former DSWD Secretary Dinky Suliman has passed away. She was 68. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know as you jumpstart your day. I'm Charles Lejano. Senator Manny Pacquiao has just announced his next big fight. But this time the match won't be fought in the ring, but in the upcoming presidential elections. Lino Lavario with the story.
8th Division World Boxing Champion Manny Pacquiao declared his presidential bid during a virtual assembly on Sunday. He was nominated by his group in the PDP Laban Party.
I am a fighter, and I will always be a fighter inside and outside the ring. Ang Manny Pacquiao na kilala niyo bilang pangbansang kamao ay walang pinag-iba sa Manny Pacquiao na kasama ninyo laban sa kahirapan at katiwalian.
Pacquiao said he remains steadfast, even as he faced challenges right within the ruling party. Recall that members of a faction led by Energy Secretary Alfonso Cusi removed him from his position as party president.
Dito mismo, sa loob ng ating partido, ang PDP Laban na aking tinanggap, kinalinga at pinagtanggol ay pilit akong binubuwag ng ilan sa ngalan ng pansariling interes at politika.
As to questions on his capability to serve as president, the 42-year-old senator detailed his humble beginnings.
Naranasan niyo po bang magutom? Naranasan niyo po bang walang makain? Ang mangutang sa kapitbahay o mag-aabang ng tira sa karinderya? Ang Manny Pacquiao na nasa harapan ninyo ngayon ay pinanday ng hirap.
Pacquiao underscored the country's need for real progress and a government that will serve the people with transparency. He also left a warning against corrupt politicians.
Malapit na kayong magsama-sama sa kulungan. Your time is up.
The assembly was attended virtually by over 10,000 grassroots members from across 81 provinces in the country. Prior to Pacquiao's acceptance speech, the faction's chairman and Senator Coco Pimentel took a swipe at Cusi's group.
Kung ang PDP Laban ay may tutulad natin sa isang sasakyan, meron pong nakasakay sa ating sasakyan na ngayon tayo na ang pinapaalis. Hindi po natin papayagan ang pag-hijack ng ating partido.
As for Pacquiao's running mate, he has yet to choose. PDP Vice Chairman Attorney Lutgardo Barbo, meanwhile, accepted his nomination as a senatorial candidate. The remaining slots now rest upon Pacquiao. For News 5, Lynn Olivario, we are One News.
Vice President Leni Robredo says there are 2 situations that would push her to run for president next year. Robredo said she will file her COC if she is chosen as the opposition's unity candidate. The Vice President has been outspoken about the opposition's need to come together to build a strong front. And she said opposition forces will have better chances of securing top spots in the government if they field just one unity slate. Robredo said the focus should be on preventing the current administration from continuing and on barring the Marcoses from rising back to power. That's why Robredo also said that she will definitely file her COC as president if it boils down to a choice between her and Bongbong Marcos.
Ano ba yung ayaw natin mangyari? Na itong administrasyon na to mag-continue beyond 2022? Na si Marcos makabalik in power? Yun yung mga ayaw natin mangyari. Kung one-on-one kami ni BBM, go na go ako doon. Kung ako yung piliin na unity candidate, go na go ako doon. Pero kung hindi kasi ako at maghahati-hati kami ng boto, yung tanong, best interest ba yun ng bayan natin? Alam natin kung ano yung ginawa ni Marcos sa Pilipinas. Hindi yung speculation, nasa records na yun ng history. Pag hinayaan nating maulit-ulit, hindi tayo natuto.
While the opposition hopes to forever deny another Marcosian rule, one party is endorsing former Senator Bongbong Marcos as their presidential candidate. The Free-Enrolled Partido Federal had its national convention on Saturday, and the party overhauled its leadership by electing new officers. Installed as the party's executive vice president and general campaign manager for the 2022 polls was lawyer Victor Rodriguez. But the party convention deferred the election of its chairman. That's as the members decided through a resolution to reserve the chairmanship to former Senator Bongbong Marcos. The previously defeated vice president was also endorsed in a unanimous vote as Partido Federal's presidential candidate for the May 9 elections. In other news, an improvised bomb exploded in Datupiang, Maguindanao on Saturday afternoon. However, the Philippine Army insists that this has nothing to do with Japan's warning on terror attacks here in the Philippines. Gemma Vansenia gives us details.
8 members of the LGBTQ plus community were rushed to the hospital on Saturday after an IED exploded inside a covered court in Datupiang, Maguindanao. One of the victims, Amidmi Paranon, said they were just playing volleyball when the bombing happened.
Bigla na lang po may sumabog. Tapos nung tumingin ako doon, puro na yung usok na yung nakita ko. Akala ko kasi mambola. Pero nung tumakbo na yung mga kasama ko, lahat kami patak-patak na. Tapos ako lang yung naiwan na huli kasi di ko kayang yung kabilang paa ko.
3 of the victims are still under medication in Abpisa Mama Hospital. Another 3 have been discharged, while the remaining 2 were referred to other hospitals. But all casualties are now in stable condition.
3 na lang po yung naiwan ngayon. Kumusta sila dito? Nasa stable condition naman po yung 3, ma'am.
Ano yung mga, may antibiotics na lang sila?
Opo, naka-antibiotic po yung 3, tapos continuous po yun, ma'am, kaya hindi pa sila pwedeng umuwi.
So yung iba po, nasaan po yung iba?
Yung isa na-refer sa tertiary hospital, sa CRMC, tapos yung isa naman, naghama. Kinuha ng kanilang pamilya.
And then, yung isa na-refer.
Tapos yung isa po, na-refer din po namin kasi positive sa rapid antigen test. Tapos yung dalawa naman po, for wound dressing lang po.
Initial investigation showed that the IED was placed in a milk tea plastic cup and was left in a post near the victims. According to the police, one of the victims' colleagues received a threat allegedly from the members of Bangsamoro Islamic Freedom Fighters or BIFF. It was a handwritten letter warning the community to stop their activities in Datupiang.
Isa sa kanila naka-receive ng threat letter from the BIFF base command na kumbaga ayaw nila in Maguindanao dialect, ayaw nila ng existence of LGBT. Kasi sa Islam bawal yun lang, parang sensitibo sila sa mga ganung kan.
But other victims insisted they did not know that there was a threat.
Wala kami na-receive na letter, only fake news po yung letter na sinasabi nila. Kasi kung talagang may letter talaga na hindi talaga kami maglalaro sa plaza.
So sa tingin niyo sino may gawa niyo?
Hindi po namin alam.
Gender discrimination was only one of 3 possible motives of the incident, according to the Philippine Army. Lieutenant Colonel John Paul Baldomar of the 6th Infantry Division told One News that the explosion could also be a diversionary tactic by the BIFF and the Dawla Islamiyah. Baldomar said this is because the military has been gaining ground against the extremist groups in central Mindanao. He also said the bombing could be politically motivated as Datupiang is an election hotspot. But Baldomar stressed that the incident was an isolated case.
I don't think that the warning given by Japan has anything to do with this one. As with regards to the perpetrators, we are still looking into this because no one has yet claimed responsibility of the said incident.
Police investigations are ongoing. Security checkpoints were also tightened over the province of Maguindanao. For News 5, Gemma Vansenia, we are One News.
back here in the metro, residents and business owners in the region are taking advantage of the eased restrictions following the implementation of a new quarantine system. JC Cosico has the report.
Shoppers have begun to flock to Baclaran on the first weekend of the Alert Level 4 implementation in Metro Manila. This couple traveled all the way from Laguna hoping to take advantage of the eased restrictions.
Mas mura dito eh.
Yung iba kasi nawawalan ng mga pangnegosyo kasi nakakaawa din naman.
Eateries are also full of customers as limited dine-ins have been allowed.
So far so good naman kaysa dati wala. Once it serves at mas masarap siya.
Mas okay ka pag dito kasi mabubusog ka talaga.
Oo.
Yung problema kasi sa pag-takeout, wala makainan.
The resumption of dine-in services is a welcome development for eatery owners and employees. They now hope to somehow recover from their losses.
Mahirap pag walang dining. Hindi kami makaubos ng ulam. Eh ngayon, lugi yun pagka ganun ang nangyayari. Kaya mas okay din to.
However, proper social distancing is a concern due to the huge crowds. Several customers are also seen in salons, some of whom were senior citizens who felt confident about going out after already being vaccinated.
Kasi may mainit, nasa loob ka lang kami ng bahay. Yun.
So,
Kailangan namin kahit pa paano, mabawasan ng book. Mainit na po.
Salon employees are thankful that they are now allowed to have limited operations, but they believe that much more can be done.
Sana nga matuloy-tuloy na itong pagbubukas namin sa salon. Kaya sarado, bukas, nakawawa talaga po namin.
Metro Manila will remain under Alert Level 4 until the end of September. For News 5, JC Cosico, we are One News.
Former Social Welfare Secretary Dinky Soliman passed away on Sunday. She died due to complications from renal and heart failure. She was 68. Recall that Soliman also contracted COVID-19 back in August, but she survived the infection. Soliman served during the administrations of Gloria Macapagal Arroyo and Noynoy Aquino, and she was at the helm of Aquino's Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program, or 4Ps. Tributes poured in for the former DSWD chief over the weekend. Vice President Leni Robredo mourns the passing of her very close friend, as the VP recalled that Soliman was present during the death of her husband, former Interior Secretary Jesse Robredo. In a statement, the DSWD also praised Secretary Dinky for being a brilliant social worker and a devoted champion for social change. The department lauded her achievements during her 2 terms as secretary, including the Kalahi CIDSS, the Magna Carta for Women, and the Anti-Trafficking of Persons Act, among others. Edwin Lacerda, presidential spokesperson during the Aquino administration, said that Soliman was one hard-working official. And Lacerda said that the former secretary ensured that the poorest were not left behind through the conditional cash transfer program. He added that Soliman was the smallest member of their cabinet, but had the biggest heart among them. Aquino's former finance secretary, Cesar Purisima, also said that Soliman's time on earth was not enough compared to the good that she could still have done and wanted to do. But despite this, Purisima said that the late DSWD secretary gave hope to millions of people. The Magnolia Hotshots and the Terra Firma Jeep emerged victorious yesterday's PBA doubleheader. Magnolia's Paul Lee led all scorers in their game against the San Miguel Beermen with 31 points, shooting 9 from 15 from the field. That gave the Hotshots a commanding win at 100-90. And with an 8-3 record, Magnolia is now headed to the playoffs with a chance to clinch a twice-to-beat advantage. On the other hand, San Miguel now has a 6-4 card, landing at 4th place in the overall standings. Meanwhile, Terra Firma kept its playoff hopes alive by dominating the Alaska Aces 105-89. The Jeep now ties Phoenix with a 4-7 win-loss card, and they will now await how the rest of the eliminations will play out and how the final standings will look like to determine whether they will advance or not. Here are the stories to watch out for later today. It's the last day of the Comelec dry run for overseas internet voting. OFWs from 70 countries are set to participate. Several groups are scheduled to stage a protest on the eve of martial law's 49th anniversary. And the PNP sends a warning to the anti-vaxxers who staged a protest in Manila last weekend. And that's how the day is shaping up to be. Join us again later at 10 a.m. as we monitor the day's biggest stories from sunrise to sundown. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Just register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We're One News.